need of having an expensive camera or much knowledge about photography or videography. Let's get right into it. So here we have a video where I'm going to try to slow down, and at some point you might need to also slow things down, and if you're not sure how to do it or have never tried to do it, then I hope this video is helpful for you. And let's just go back and kind of refresh our minds a little bit on the basics of photography, videography. Here's the exposure triangle, which is what most photographers, videographers need to know, just at least the basics, so you could have, so the video or the image won't look so bad. Alright, so we have this video that's 30 frame rates per second and 1080p. Mainly, most of the times that's what people focus on, like what kind of resolution I'm gonna get and the frame rates. Why is that important? Because that's gonna give your video some type of feel, emotion. It will give some type of sense of time, and the basic rule would be if it's 30 frames per second, you need to double the shutter speed. So that would be 60 or close to it. If your settings don't have 60, sometimes it has 50. So just choose the one that's closer to your frame rate. So if you're shooting at 25, you need to shoot at 50 shutter speed. But since it doesn't have 50, you would choose 60. Okay? That's if you want motion blur, which most movies are shot at 24 frames per second. So meaning they use a shutter speed of 50 or 60. So if you want motion blur, you would need to do that. If you don't, you would need to shoot at a higher shutter speed, such as this one, which will freeze most of the frames. Okay. What shutter speed does is just, it controls the length of time the shutter will stay open. Okay. Such as if you're kind of like shutting your window blinds, depending on how fast you do it, that's how it kind of works. The ISO is just the amount of light coming into the lens, and the aperture is the sensitivity of the sensor to the light. So most phones and cameras let you change this manually, the shutter speed and the ISO, not the aperture. Most of the times it's already fixed. But a way to change them would be to use an ND filter, or if you have like your sunglasses, put it in front of your camera and you'll kind of see the change of light. And if you shoot at a lower ISO, it'll be much better than if you shoot at a higher ISO, which will give you more grain and noise. You would need to choose this if you're shooting in the dark. The lower the ISO, the better. Faster shutter speed freezes things faster. Lower shutter speed will blur things out. Okay, such as this. Also, the aperture will control the depth of field, such as if you want to blur the background or have it sharp. This is just the basics of this exposure triangle and how it will relate to your frame rates. That way you won't have choppy, freezing frame rates. If we go here and we try to change, let's say we have a video where we have this, but we just need a little bit of this, just this part, slow motion. If I was to slow motion this by half, optical flow, it's not going to look very smooth because it's now using less frame rates. It's actually using less frames, and they're getting duplicated, so it's not going to look very, very smooth. You'll see choppiness, freezing frames. Okay, so you could just take this piece and enhance it artificially. So let's say we have this. I want to slow it down by half. I need to have this video at least, I would have to shoot this at 60 frame rates. Okay, so I can just go here. Let's say I'm gonna keep the same speed but just double the frame rates to 60 and then process it. When I bring it back here, I'll be able to slow it down with 50 and it will still play at 30 frame rates per second. Now it won't look choppy or it won't freeze. Okay, so you can either do that, or let's say you wanna just slow it down but still keep the same frame rates. You can also do that. Slow it down by 200, which is equivalent to 50 here. Once you slow it down, you can go ahead and render it. And it's also the same thing. You can slow things down up to 2000 and change the frame rates up to 120. So either you do that, or it'll still do the same thing, if that makes sense. Okay, so 160 or 200 and still keep the same frame rate, and it will still be the same thing. What this is doing, it's reimagining missing pixels. So it's not just duplicating the pixels, it's actually reimagining them, and it's creating them. An example would be this. So I have this sample video where I have 3 different types of slow motions, and this is Premiere Pro, Topaz, and SpeedX. This is what Premiere Pro did for this frame in particular. Like, it just made it look like this. And also this is what SpeedX did. It just blurred it out a little bit, and this is what Topaz did. It actually reimagined the hand, the fingers, and everything, creating missing pixels. Another plugin that I use is this, SpeedX. That's all it does, it just time remaps. You can slow things down all the way to 10,000 and change the interpolation type, and you will have artificially slow things down smoothly instead of duplicating frames. If this was helpful, let me know in the comments. If you like this type of content, go ahead and subscribe, and thank you for watching.